slide onto the front foot and it all comes apart.
Could you come and see how you all are faring? Good. Right idea. And so just go ahead and be here. You're in your left foot. Your right hand is on your left shoulder, and your left hand is up here. And so when I step, when you put your right foot down and put your weight into it, that's when the friendship ends. Balloon. Yeah. And this one, this hand, so go ahead and just in that stance, leave your right hand up here on the shoulder, and we're going to twist just a little bit. And then you're going to turn the hips and let the arm just fall. But I want you to let it come right over next to the hip in the pocket where it goes. And so if we're practicing that motion again, you guys can all do this if you want to. Whatever stance you're in, whichever foot is forward, that hand is at the other shoulder. The hand that belongs to that shoulder is just kind of up here. So it's sort of like we have this friend up here on the back foot shoulder. And I'm going to turn that shoulder back a little bit so my chest angles off from the front line. When I shift my hips forward at the same time, I'm just going to drop the arm that is at the shoulder and let it come over by the thigh. And so I'm going to practice that a little bit. I'm going to shift with my hips and let that front arm come up to the shoulder, and then I'm going to shift the hips back to the front and let the hand come down like I'm trying to touch something. And then that other hand just goes, and I can practice the whole thing. I can come back and touch the shoulder, and I can go here. And it's not the whole motion, but it's the right idea. Shoulder, block and push. Shoulder, block and push. Ooh. Okay, and actually now that I just thought of that, I'm going to come over here and just demonstrate that here because I talked about it, but everybody on TV land, which will be all of us later, can now see what I'm doing. So if I'm going to practice the brush knee like I was just describing, and you can see me now if you weren't doing it blah, blah, blah. Okay, anyway, so I'm in that mountain climbing stance or that bear stance, mountain climbing stance or bow stance. I'm going to start with my weight on my back foot, and I'm going to turn my hips a little bit so that my chest is off line. It's at that 45-degree line to the front corner. And the brush knee, part of that thing is that my front foot's hand is staying high to here. And my back hand is up here. So it's almost like I have my hands together at that shoulder. And I have my hips turned. And so I'm going to shift my weight into the front foot a little bit. I'm just leaving my hands here for a second. The motion is there. So I've squared my body up now. If I just forget about the hands, they're just up here being weird, and I just pivot in my hips, still trying to keep my back sunk, and I just do that with the hips and shifting sort of back foot into front foot. So that's the motion of what's happening in the feet and body, and then we just need to add the arms in. And so I'm going to forget about the same side hand, the one that's really awkward, just up here like we're trying to grab our shirt. We're just going to leave it and forget about it. The other hand, when we turn our hips, we're going to let it fall. And we're going to let it come and fall over here next to our pocket, next to our hip, like it does when we do the brush knee. And so I can pivot in my hips, and that hand comes back up again close to the shoulder. I pivot in the hips, and I let the hand just naturally fall, and it comes down here like I'm trying to keep a big, beautiful dog right here and pat his head or something, right? So my hand comes up with the hips, my hand comes down with the hips. If I keep that going and I add in the really awkward shoulder grabbing or drooping hand, and I just let it come forward. And so for this action, we're just going to let it come back and let it go forward like it can only move on this line. All right, our hips turn, the hand drops, the hand pushes. our hips turn, the hands retract. So we get bigger, we kind of get smaller. We get bigger, we get smaller. Okay, so we're not using the hands quite correctly, so we're going to add that in now. Our position that we're starting from right now in this practice is this thing. All right, but we're going to drop the most uncomfortable arm for a second. And we're going to have our hips facing forward at first. And what I want us to do is we're going to turn the hips and we're going to let that now just hanging out here hand circle down like it's checking out its pocket as our hips turn, and then it floats up. Okay, the other hand is just kind of hanging out here. We're not worried about it. The hand circles and floats up. Kind of circles down and it floats up. Okay, so we're going to do that. We're going to circle down, it floats up, and then we let the shoulder hand drop and the pushing hand comes forward. Good. So we're going to twist the hips. The push hand is going to circle down. The shoulder hand is going to find its shouldery friend. Hands up. Shoulder friend drops. Pushing hand comes forward. And so we'll just do that a little bit. Turn the hips. The shoulder friend reaches for it. The other hand makes a low circle, floats. We push, and the shoulder friend hand drops. Same thing. Okay. Now, if you want to, you can imagine that somebody just put their hand on your shoulder. Why did they do that? I'm going to grab that hand and I'm just going to pull it off. And I'm going to help it by kind of taking my other hand and just sort of pushing their wrist. And then I've got their hands off me and they're not touching me anymore. So that's a way that this could be used. I strip the shoulder and I push it away. I could strip the shoulder and I've got this hand and I pull them across and this hand goes to their shoulder and I push them away. And so that's one of the things we could be doing. I'm here and go away. Let go. Go away. That. All right? So that's what that is. And awesome. We should probably move into doing the form now since that has been a million years. This thing is kind of fun. It records until it thinks it's recorded an insane amount of material, like it's up to too many gigabytes, and then it just goes bleh, and it changes it over into a new video. And so then when I go back in and edit, that's why it's in so many chunks if you see it, and they're at weird times, because I just have been rolling and not bothering to stop anything. And there is a watch thing that once I take it apart and find the right size battery, so we can make that all happen. Anyway, all right. You will all be good again if you are not past the front foot of this thing. So go ahead and step forward enough that you have enough space to do the form. You're not going to run into the chairs or anything like that. And don't worry, you are not going to be visible in any of this. I think the most recent video I kind of did the first time, I think I went up to the end of the first road. And so we're going to start there. We are going to end up then, so the end of the first road is where we come here, we're at apparent close. And so we're going to do carry tiger over the mountain, which is going to turn us a little bit towards this corner, towards the northwest corner. It's then going to turn us 180 degrees into the back, the southeast corner, this one up here, and we're going to then do the grass sparrow's tail sequence, coming back to a diagonal single lip here. So just so you know, so you have enough space that you're not going to smash yourself into the chairs moving back there. So here we are at the end of the first road. We have just done apparent close, so we're in cross hands. So go ahead and find your cross hand position. I'm going to turn this off.
Goodbye.
Okay. We're in our cross hands position, and since we just kind of magically dropped ourselves here, I want us to go ahead and just test it. So drop your shoulders, make sure your chin's tucked, your chest has dropped and it's flattened out, and that you are kind of sitting down on the bar stool. And then find that